Hey guys, Dead by Dawn 3 here. I'm back. I've actually started feeling a little bit better, so I thought I'd go ahead and do a video. First of all, I want to say Happy New Year to all my subscribers and everyone who watches my channel. Ever since I started doing YouTube videos, I had no idea that I would enjoy it as much as I've done. And, I've met a lot of really cool people over on YouTube, and it's really cool, to know that people share your interest for collecting movies, because when I was younger I would collect so many movies and I always used to think I was weird just for doing that, but now that I've found a lot of people that do that, it's really a great experience. I just want to say thanks. Well, I thought that since this is the beginning of a new year, I thought I'd do a list of my top 10 favorite horror movies. And these are the movies that I always watch whenever I'm in the mood for a great horror film, and whenever I think, what is an awesome horror movie? These are the movies that definitely come to mind. And there's a lot of other movies that I think I could have picked for this, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to sooner or later do a top 20 video sometime. But right now I'm just going to do my top 10 favorite ones. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first movie I talked about is definitely a classic. It's probably in everyone's top 10 favorite horror movies. But it's, of course, John Carpenter's original classic, Halloween. And, like I said, true classic. The first time I saw this movie, I saw it when I was really young. I was about 8 years old, and it scared the crap out of me. Definitely one of the creepiest ones. Another thing that I love is I love the theme song. This theme song is recognizable. The moment you hear it, it's iconic. You know exactly what movie it is, when you hear it. And it's really one of those themes that you have to play on Halloween. You have to hear that theme, in October, or it doesn't feel like Halloween. One thing I've loved about the movie is that it pretty much is how dark it is. I love how, I love the creepiness of it. I love how there's practically no blood and no gore. The whole movie relied completely on suspense, and I always love movies that do that. Like other films that I would say, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or movies like that are just that just rely on just scares and don't rely on blood or gore, is movies that I always enjoy. One thing I've always loved about this movie is the scenes when, your look is when, like one of the girls is walking in the house, and you can look outside and you can basically see like half of Michael's face, or he's like illuminated out in the back. You can barely see him in the dark. And one scene I've always remembered is that back when my mom was younger, she actually saw this movie when it first came out, back when Halloween was actually first released, and she saw one scene that she always remembered was that one scene of when Laurie Strode, or Jamie Lee Curtis's character, looks out at her clothes line, and she sees Michael standing out there, and my mom always used to remember that scene, and always used to terrify her. But like I said, so many iconic moments in this film. I can't go into enough of how much I love it. I've talked about this movie numerous times, so I really don't want to go into it a lot. But this really is just definitely my favorite horror film of all time. Have to watch it every year. It's a classic one, and it really holds a big place in my heart. It says Halloween. Now, the second movie I'm going to talk about, this is actually the first horror movie I ever saw. When I was 6 years old, I saw this movie. And if you're a fan of my channel, you know what movie I'm talking about, but it's Child's Play. And this is, of course, definitely one of my top favorite ones. Back when I was younger, I was about 6 years old when I saw this movie for the first time. And I remember being completely paranoid all the time. Like, I'd walk around and I'd look behind, and I'd look behind me as if someone was coming up behind me or something like that, and I'd just be paranoid. And the teachers at my elementary school got all worried about me and shit. So it was just, it was always that movie. But yeah, just such a great movie in my eyes. I always thought the whole idea of a child's doll coming to life, that's like the ultimate, kid nightmare. That's always that one thing you're scared of, your toys coming to life and trying to kill you. Yeah. And of course, I remember I learned all my favorite cuss words from this movie too. And the one-liners are really good. I thought the little kid Andy, who's played by Alex Vincent, I thought he did a really good job. He's a really good actor, really good child actor, and of course Brad Dourif, who does Chucky's voice, was also awesome in this movie. And there's so many good one-liners in it, and of course, I remember I'd walk around and I'd just be like, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Want to play?" Because I was a weird little kid. But yeah, this is the first horror movie I ever saw, so this movie, it holds a special place, very near and dear to my heart. So Child's Play. Now the next one, another iconic horror figure, Nightmare on Elm Street. And now, out of all the slasher films besides Halloween, like Halloween creeped me out, Friday the 13th didn't scare me. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre sort of did, but it didn't. This movie legitimately creeped me out the first time I saw it. The opening scene when the character Tina is walking through having her first dream, and she sees that lamb running, and you hear Chucky, and you hear Freddy's laughter. That's, iconically, that's just such a creepy scene. And of course, when she's all wrapped up, and and she's dead, and that centipede comes out of her mouth, that's always great. And of course, Robert Englund is amazing as Freddy Krueger. He really looks like he's a psychopath and child killer in this movie. And it's such an amazing film. Like I said, recognizable, and just have to talk about it. So that's Nightmare on Elm Street. Now the next one is a newer movie that I saw. I didn't watch this movie when I was younger, but I adore this movie now, and it's the original Phantasm. And this is such an iconic horror film. As I said, first of all, just like Halloween, the theme song is amazing. Like, I can just sit there all day just listening to that theme song. It's so iconic, and I love it. And of course, this movie is such an original horror film. Like the scenes with the silver spear, the silver spears flying around, and they have, they can have spikes in them, and they drill into your head. Those are just, iconic scenes in their own. And of course, the tall man Angus Scrimm is just so menacing in this film, and it's a really he plays a really menacing character. And of course, the one-liners in this movie are great. Like you play a good game, boy, but the game is finished. Now you die. And I've always related to the main character, Michael, who's played by A. Michael Baldwin. Because in the opening of the movie, his older brother, Jody is, thinking about moving away somewhere, or sending him away somewhere and everything. And I can really understand the loneliness that he would have felt, of sort of feeling almost alienated by his brother. And I've never felt alienated by any one of my older siblings, but at the same time, I can really, relate to that. And I love how you can see this whole movie through the eyes of through the eyes of Michael, through the eyes of a kid. And movies like that, I think you can relate to a lot more when you're younger. But this is definitely a, amazing horror film, and loved it. Next one, this was one of the first ever truly gory movies that I've seen, but it's The Evil Dead. And I know a lot of people, this is like a hit and miss for some people. Most people love the film, most people hate it. I love the film. I think it's really awesome. This was one of the first truly gory movies that I've ever seen. And it was also the first scene that I ever saw a girl, getting raped. I've never seen a girl get raped in a movie before, and the scene of the tree rape scene at the beginning, got to me a little bit, but I loved it at the same time. But yeah, and Bruce Campbell is, he's the man in this movie. This is a really nice addition, by the way. It's a 1-disc by Anchor Bay. I have the 3-disc Ultimate Edition of this as well. But yeah, just a truly iconic horror film. Like I said, tons of great scenes, great gore. Just. Now the next one is a newer film. Oh, it's not newer. It's new for me because I actually was late in getting around to seeing this film, and now that I finally saw it, I love it completely. It's Zombie, from the horror icon Lucio Fulci, who's just an amazing film director. I actually saw this movie a couple years back, so I've seen it. You know, I've seen it, but I mean, it's one of those newer films. I didn't grow up with it as much as I grew up with movies like Child's Play or Halloween. But yeah, this movie is truly a iconic horror film. As I say, the theme song is great. Like in most of these movies, I love the theme of this movie. You know, I love the gore effects in it. Like like that one scene where the girl, like right there is a picture of it where the girl gets the splinter stuck in her eye. Such a great scene. But yeah, classic horror film right here, and love it. Now the next one, some people might not consider a true horror movie. I consider it a horror/action movie. But like I said, I've talked about this movie multiple times, so I'm not even going to go into it. But Battle Royale, what else can I say? It's an amazing film. I did a review of it. I also, you know, I've talked about it multiple times, so I'm not going to get into it. But I am going to say, just a great movie. Now the next one is probably my favorite zombie movie of all time, Dawn of the Dead. And like I said, talked about this multiple times, but you know, the gore is amazing in this movie, and sorry, my lips are a little dry. But anyway, the gore in this movie is amazing in this movie, and I've always loved the fact that the whole movie was shot in a mall. I always thought that was such a cool place to film a horror movie because there were so many places you could go to in a mall. You know, and you can pretty much get whatever you want there, so it's not like you ever have to leave. Like, if I could live in a mall, I would definitely do that, honestly, because that'd be awesome. But, you know, George A. Romero is the master in zombie movies. I don't think anybody's ever done it better. But, you know, this is the David Mack Special Edition. I've heard that this is actually out of print now, so I'm pretty glad I got it. But, yeah, Dawn of the Dead, true classic horror movie. Favorite zombie film right here. Now the next movie is definitely, if you're a fan of Italian horror, then you know this is definitely the one that you have to see. But of course it's Dario Argento's classic Suspiria. And like I said, I've talked about this movie multiple times, so I'm not going to get into it, but all I can say is the theme song, awesome. The death scenes are great, and I love, like I've said multiple times, I love the lighting in this movie. I love the colors in the movie. Like, I love how in one scene, one of the characters is talking, and there's a red light shining on her face. No, there's a blue light shining on her face, and then behind her, coming out of the window, there's like a red light, and that's all you see is just a red light behind her, and then a blue. And Dario Argento is great when it comes to combining making everything look beautiful, but at the same time terrifying, and making a truly creepy movie. And Suspiria definitely is true horror classic. Love it. And the last one we're going to talk about is actually a sequel, but it's Evil Dead 2. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I actually saw Evil Dead 2 before I saw the first Evil Dead. I've had it on VHS forever. I actually recently got this DVD which has the original skull, which I think looks so much better than the other DVD, or the other cover of it. I like the other cover, but this is the iconic VHS cover art that it looks amazing. Like I said, Bruce Campbell, you know, one of my favorite actors. You know, the gore in it is not as great as in the first one, but it's still definitely awesome. I also love the one-liners in the movie, you know, like when he, you know, groovy, and just, it's such a great, awesome, fun ride. I've talked about this movie before, but yeah, definitely one of my top favorite horror films, and yeah, I just truly love it. But anyway, guys, I know this video wasn't as great as you know, I would hope to be. I'm still a little bit sick, but you know, I just wanted to go ahead and show off a list of what I felt are my top 10 all-time favorite horror films. You know, I'm like I said, these are movies I've grown up watching, movies that I'm always in the mood to watch. And I'd love to see what you guys, what are your favorite top 10 horror movies? Feel free to, post a comment down below or leave a video response. I love hearing back from you guys as much as I can. But like I said, I'm still a little bit sick, so if you guys still can't hear me very well, I'm sorry. I'm still recovering. But once I'm going to wait until I actually get well and before I start uploading more videos. But I just wanted to do this one last video to kickstart off 2013. I truly hope to get a lot more subscribers. I truly hope that, things go great. And this is going to be a big YouTube year for me. I think I'm going to be on YouTube a lot more this year than I was last year. But anyway, guys, Happy New Year. Hope you guys like my video. Thanks for watching and subscribing, and I will see you guys later.